All right, guys. Welcome back. So the video successfully uploaded, thank God. I was it was like 9 minutes long. I was like, oh, I could have talked a little bit more, but all right. So anyways, let's go back to the 5 different ocean gyres. I think gyres. I talked about the North Atlantic and South Atlantic. Now let's go to North Pacific. Yeah, so North Pacific gyres basically holds the North I cannot talk today. Current on its southern boundary, which turns into the Pacific Current, aka the Japan Current, which brings warm water north towards Japan. And then the Kusuro then flows into the North Pacific Current, which moves east towards North America, where it becomes the California Current to complete the gyre. Now onto the South Pacific. So the Arctic current basically becomes the Peru Current, also known as the Himo Current, which moves up the west coast of South America before joining the South Pacific Current, which flows southward as the Eastern Current before joining the breaks with the Eastern Sea, and then the Indian Current is basically that makes up the Indian Gyre, the AC, the Western Current, South Shore Current, and the Atlas Current. So I should have added some Jaws music to the section. So as you can see, this lovely little movie poster is basically kind of, if you guys seen Jaws, it's basically I cannot talk today. Oh my god, this is basically kind of a poster, a Jaws with a shirt, get a little plastic bag here, so yeah. Anyways, we're gonna talk about next is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So within it, so of course, we're gonna do like defining words, links, and the myth of it, because a lot of people think that it's like a big old island of trash, but that's not the case. Well, yeah, so first, of course, let's define it. Well, what is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Well, basically, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, it is a collection of marine debris that's located in the North Pacific Ocean, and it actually goes by another name known as the Pacific Trash Vortex, which basically spans waters from the west coast of North America to Japan. And the patch is actually comprised of the western garbage patch, located near Japan. As for the eastern garbage patch, it's located between the United States of Hawaii and California. But of course, for this main one, we're not going to be talking about those other. We're going to be talking about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And so it's actually also to the largest of the 5 offshore plastic containing zones in the words ocean. And another kind of definition for the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, it is basically the NOAA refers to garbage patch as the vortex of plastic waste and debris that's broken down into small particles in the ocean. I talked super fast for that section. Anyways, well, where are they linked? So basically, the areas of Spring Springs are linked together by the North Pacific Subtropical Conference Zone, which is located a few hundred kilometers north of Hawaii. And in this conference zone, basically there's warm water from the Pacific that meets up with cooler water from the Arctic. And then also, of course, the entire patch is bounded by the North Pacific Subtropical Gyre. Well, so basically, hold on. Okay. So also too, how, like, where is it formed and stuff? So it's formed by, or how is it formed, I guess? So it's basically formed by four currents switching clockwise around an area of 20 million kilometers. Heifer current, which is the California current, the North Australia current, the Sur current, and the North Pacific current. Oh, that was that was with the North Pacific subtropical gyre. That's basically how it's formed. Oh, wait a minute. Ah, I am so sorry. Okay. So that looks like we have to go back here. Sorry, I messed up on my little notes here. So yeah, I messed up on my notes here on my presentation notes. So that had nothing to do with the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. I am so sorry. I am on my last remaining brain cells. So basically, to add on to how the North Pacific Tropical Gyre is formed, basically, oh wait, yeah. So it's formed by four currents which are clockwise in the area of 20 million square kilometers. The California current, the North Shore current, Sur current, and North Pacific current. And when the area is like that around the gyre, it's actually very calm and stable. And the circummotion gyre basically draws debris into the stable center where it becomes trapped. For instance, if we have like a water bottle that's been discarded off the coast of California, then it basically take this current south to Mexico, and it might cast another solar current, which then crosses the Pacific. And basically, what happens, it nears the coast of Japan, and then the bottom might travel north on the Polaris current. At last, it will travel eastward on the North Pacific current, and then gently rolling vortex of the eastern Pacific garbage patches will gradually draw the bubble in. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah. All right. So that, and basically, if we're gonna talk about base marine debris, so basic marine debris is basically litter that ends up in ocean seas of water bottles, bodies of water, and basically, and then that debris in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, basically what happens is that it accumulates because much of it is not biodegradable, and it's because many plastic not work down, they simply break into tinier and tinier pieces. So now on to the myth. On to the myth. So many people, when we think of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, we might, picture the it's an island of trash floating in the ocean. But that is a myth, actually. That is not true. So those trash limits are not an island of trash, they're actually made of tiny bits of plastic called microplastics. And what's happening though is that according to 5G Science to Solution, this this myth actually anticipates the plastic pollution problem because the position as something that we can sweep up in a way which introduce plastic without consequences. And then, of course, the extraction of plastic in the gyres, but the material is constantly in the process of breaking down to smaller and smaller pieces, which penetrate all waters. And then ocean plastic is less like an island and more like a smog. And then, of course, if we're gonna talk, and then of course, basically, to add on to that, these plastics, again, the plastic is important to know that tiny plastics cannot be seen by the naked eye. Even when the light satellite imagery, it doesn't show a giant patch of garbage. This was also in the patch make the water basically look like a cloudy soup. And this with this imagery with larger items such as fishing gear and shoes. And then when we're talking about the seafloor, well, surprise, surprise, the seafloor that's beneath the Great Patch. Hate to break it to you, but it's also underwater trash heap. And wanted to add this little fact. Oceanographers now just discovered that about 70% of marine debris actually sinks to the bottom of the ocean. That is a lot. All right, so next, well, first there is a video on this further explaining it, but I'm going because I know I probably almost have talked more than 15 minutes. I'm gonna stop here, come back, watch the video, and then after that, we will talk about basically who discovered the patch, and then our last two subjects, which is plastic in marine animals and plastic in humans. All right. See you in the next one.